What's the deal with borders?
Some make sense, right? One side of a mountain range belongs to one country, the other side to a second. A river divides two countries or units from one another, and a sign on either side usually stands to welcome crossing travelers. Then, sometimes people just draw straight lines on a map and call it a day. Does it make sense? Do the people there agree? Will it have long-lasting effects and ramifications? Who cares? And then you have whatever Belgium and the Netherlands are doing in the town of Bar-le-Hertog. Borders are interesting, and countries are interesting, and what's also interesting are the stories about how these things came to be. Why are there a bunch of little, teeny tiny micro countries in Europe? Looking at you, Andorra, Liechtenstein, San Marino, and the Vatican. What's Russia doing with a piece on the Baltic like 2 countries over from the rest of it? But today, I want to talk about Germany. Germany, though I've never been, is a place where I have roots, and I hear is lovely. They love their beer and sausage. They work hard and play hard. Germany is a federal parliamentary republic, about 84 million people as of 2022, a GDP of 5.3 trillion US dollars, 5th in the world. Not bad, Germany. Germany's borders aren't terribly odd or eccentric, no radical exclaves or strange straight lines. Germany's actually a fairly nice shape, a good circumference to area ratio, nice and compact. She's basically bound by some mountains and rivers and the North and Baltic seas. What's strange about Germany is what isn't inside her borders. What I mean is there is a Germany where Germans live, just as there is a France where Frenchmen live, and a Japan where Japanese men live. What's a German, though? Easy enough, a citizen of Germany, and they speak German. But so do the people of Austria, by and large, as well as much of Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and Luxembourg. Italians along the southern slopes of the Alps and South Tyrol speak German, as recognized by the Italian government. Shouldn't these places be part of Germany? There's a lot of historical baggage that comes with a question like that. These people probably would be quicker to call themselves Austrians, Swiss, and Luxembourgish before Germans. Moreover, linguists have spent a lot of time studying German, and you might find it fascinating to know that the German taught in schools and that the German government governs in is a standard variety. There are many varieties of German in the country, some of which are very different and indeed incomprehensible with the standard variety. Some are so different that they could be considered separate languages. And in fact, just to add confusion, some Western varieties are more similar to Dutch than standard German. And that brings us to the Dutch. What's their deal? Why aren't they part of Germany? Well, that's nonsense, I hear you say. The Dutch are Dutch, Germans are Germans. One lives in the Netherlands, the other in Germany, you fool. But you may know that in the German language, Germany is Deutschland, and the German people are Deutsche. The Dutch called themselves Nederlanders, which is more intuitive for people living in the Netherlands. But in English, they're Dutch. But you may also know a body of people in the United States, specifically in the Amish country of Pennsylvania, are referred to as the Pennsylvania Dutch, despite the fact that they speak a variety of German. There's some funny business going on, and that's what I want to answer here. Why are there people who speak German but aren't German, or speak Dutch but aren't part of the Deutsche people? Well, it's a lot of history, so I'll try to do it at a fair pace. So, let's ask ourselves, what is a Germany? May seem like a redundant question. I just answered that earlier. It's a country. Germany in English comes from the French, go figure, Germanie, which evolved from the Latin Germania, literally land of the Germani. Germani seems to have been an ancient Gaulish term, or at least a Latin version of it, for the peoples who lived across the River Rhine in Roman times, specifically in the 1st century BC, when Julius Caesar was conquering Gaul, modern France, for glory and gold. He seems to have brought the name into Roman usage. There's debate, but one of the theories is Germani originally meant something like neighbor or friend, which is appropriate for the Gauls to refer to their neighbors across the Rhine, where modern Germany is largely located. Now, the Romans, as cool and clever, albeit bloodthirsty and brutal as they may have been, were not the most thorough of anthropologists. Germani referred to a people who, by and large, probably had similar lifestyles and even languages. But the Romans weren't terribly concerned that they lumped all these diverse tribes into a pithy single name. Fast forward a number of centuries, and the Western Roman Empire collapses, giving way to various barbarian kingdoms. The most famous, those of the Goths and Franks, who take over the former provinces of the empire. Linguists and historians have determined that these tribes and peoples were mostly Germanic, as in speaking a language of the Germanic branch of the Indo-European family, of which modern German, Dutch, and even English are a part of. These Germani, though the Romans probably referred to them by tribe as opposed to a broader term in these days, came from Magna Germania, Big Germany, into Little Germany across the Rhine, the Roman provinces of Upper and Lower Germania, and beyond. The early Middle Ages saw the rise of these Germanic kingdoms and their attempts to reconcile the fact that their kings ruled both their own tribal people as well as Roman citizens. We have laws, such as the Burgundian Lex Burgundionum, which specifically differentiates between Romans and Germanics, Germans, barbarians, whatever you want to call them. Fast forward again, and Charlemagne the Frank, the great father of Europe, unites Gaul, crosses the Rhine, conquers the Saxons, and other guys beyond Germania into the Slavic territories, which is a whole other topic. By this point, the ruling Franks recognized their subjects could be divided broadly into two groups. Former Romans, who spoke a language they called Romance, in truth various forms of Latin that were diverging more and more from one another, and Germanics, speaking some form of Germanic that was also diverging into different varieties. The Franks themselves probably spoke something related to Dutch. In Latin, chroniclers referred to these varieties of not German as Theodiscus, the word related to modern Deutsch and Dutch. We'll use Deutsch because that was the medieval term. So that brings us up to just about the end of the early Middle Ages, formerly known as the Dark Ages. But that's a whole can of worms. We still have over 1,000 years of Germany to unpack, so I'll see you next time as we talk about the Holy Roman Empire. Quit your snickering, Voltaire. Thanks for watching.